Hello everyone, it is Friday, February 9th, 2024, and this is the video for today. So, as always, we are going to start with the market on a longer term basis, zoom into a shorter term basis. We're going to take a look at what's happening today. I have this market chart pulled up over here. And then we will look at the pick from the last video, which was Carvana, and I'll give you guys some picks for this video. But before we get into the picks, we have to get into the market and what it's doing, because that will help define what kind of picks we are looking for. So, again, on a long-term chart, there's nothing fundamentally or technically that has changed this week. The nice thing about always looking at your long-term bias every day, you don't really have to change it. Once you know it, you can sort of see how, or you can sort of plan ahead as to what will change it. Right, so I know that, okay, inflation, FOMC, earnings are big. All of those are behind us. There's nothing like that for a while. Some economic releases, not for a while. So we know that we can, we know that there's nothing out of the ordinary, or I guess nothing ordinary that'll come in. Something out of the ordinary would have to come in to majorly shake our long-term bias. So we know what we want, right? We want a dip longer term for a better entry point for swings. We see that this rally is getting a little bit extended, a little bit fluffy, some tiny bodied candles. We're up against major psychological resistance. But this rally could go on. All right, there's my zoom alert. So longer term, we're still technical. Let's look at the market in a shorter term here. So we can see that we had a nice gap up, and we can kind of zoom out this week here. The theme has been big moves up, compression. So we pull back a little bit here, right? We had a really nice move up, compressed, another leg up, compress, and now we're making another leg up on this compression breakout at this psychological level. So on a shorter term basis, we are still bullish, but you can look at the volume. Right, the volume over the past few days has been pretty low versus some of the volume here. Right, this is some nice heavy volume post FOMC, lots of news, really nice steady action, going from that day. But you don't quite have the volume over here, and the price action is kind of the steady grind up. Like I said in the last video, I think it's a seller's boycott. There's not any major catalyst. We're just sort of melting up right now. But it looks like sellers aren't interested at this price. There's no overextension of the market, no major opportunity to take profits. We're not getting major gaps up, right? This was a pretty major gap up that held for about 2 days. We got a small gap up, which means we weren't too far. We tested this previous high of the day, which was the breakout level, and then we started to climb higher, pull back to VWAP, and then we made a new high of the day. So if we didn't have major psychological resistance at around 500, I would be a little bit more bullish, right? If you just look at the short-term context. But if you zoom out to the longer-term context, we want to be a little bit more nimble, right? We're still bullish, but we're still nimble. Shorter-term swings and more day trades. So that's what we're kind of looking for at today. So before we get into the picks for this video, let's take a look at my pick from yesterday, which was Carvana. So I mentioned that Carvana, I want a short-term swing near 54. I took profits at around 53 because we had this choppy price action, and you see the market was going up and Carvana was doing nothing. As soon as the market started to waver a little bit around 11, you can see Carvana started to tank, broke through the prior day high. Now we're still at this level over here, providing some support, but I'm being nimble, right? I want to see this move happen in the next cycle. So I entered Carvana on this down cycle, very tiny down cycle here. We didn't get a huge move, so I took some small profits back on the sidelines. So I'm not letting these stocks get too far away from me. So if you're nimble with Carvana, should have been a small win. You still have a chance, in my opinion, to scratch out of the trade here. We have some resistance at VWAP. I entered the trade at around 52.08. So you still have a chance to scratch out of Carvana. There are better picks and didn't produce how I wanted it to produce. It looks like we hit some resistance on that trend line a little bit closer than I would have thought. It could also be something at the gap here. Who knows? Or just some profit taking. But in any case, we're in and out of Carvana, so that's a small win. Not the best win, but still a pretty good win. All right, we're still in Ally. Ally, let's start with the D1 here. It's compressing, kind of chopping around AVWAP. Still not doing much, but technically valid. So what I would do is I'm just going to set an alert on Ally on these high of the day and the low of the day and see if it moves out of that range. SMCI had a nice move today. If you're holding that stock, from when I called it out in this video, you would be doing pretty well. Could have got almost $100 on a single share, which is very nice. And it's had preserved nice relative strength. The volume's tapering off a little bit here. And it's said to be nimble. So, you know, you could have held it here, but you didn't know what the market's going to do at this level. And I personally would have taken profits earlier. And I would have been day trading this, right? So you can see how, if we zoom out to the M15 chart on SMCI, it has these deep pullbacks, and once this is established, we get the next leg higher. So honestly, this M15 alert on LRSI is a pretty nice entry point on the stock because these pullbacks tend to be a little bit longer. So I'm actually going to set that alert right now on an M15 basis. So that could provide a nice short-term swing, right? This is the down cycle, this is the up cycle, and you can take profits. You know, you can target that previous high. You can look at the move for the next high when it starts to get overextended. But SMCI is one you can be in and out of. Not as much my style personally, but you know, you can take nice profits on that move there. Okay, so let's go for some picks now. Because we are thinking more day trading and short-term swing trading, here's my picks for you. The first one, well, LRCX we're going to get to in a second, but my first one is Riot. So you can see here, Riot, crypto had a major sell-off here. I believe Bitcoin hit a floor, but I'm not really looking at the Bitcoin area as much, although we can pull up BTC, or I believe it's BITC. So I'm going to go to my crypto area. Or sorry, market. It's in my flight to safety. BITO. BITO. Yes, pro Bitcoin strategy share. So you can see moved up higher, it hit some resistance, and now it's getting a bid over here. So there's a couple of reasons why I like Riot. So first, let's just look at the breakout technically, right? One, we've established a base. We're through all the SMAs. We're close to this SMA here. You can see there's probably some resistance somewhere around this level, the $16 level. So that could be a nice target. TA isn't insanely, I mean, it is important, but because cryptos tend to get hot and cold, they can really blow through some of that TA. The second thing is we don't have earnings coming up pretty soon. So the technical part of this chart on a D1 basis, you can see, yeah, it's been at this $14 level for a while, but when it forms a support, it really takes off, right? And when it hits this resistance, it really comes back down. So you can trade in the middle of this range. That's a pretty high probability move. When we get to this breakout here, nice move up on these kind of stocks. So that's kind of the technical background. Now, this is not really fundamental, but just something about crypto. They tend to be a little bit more market agnostic, in my opinion. So because the market is kind of reaching a fluffy point, a little bit of an overextension, I would like to get a stock that isn't as related to that market. So because crypto kind of tends to do its own thing a little bit more, we have a little bit more staying power because we can lean on this D1 chart more versus what the market's doing. So that's the second thing about crypto. So those are the two things I'm looking at. If we zoom into the M5 chart here, we can see a beautiful pattern, gapped up, digested all the gains, and now it's starting to grind up higher. Now, if ideally my entry point would have been this breakout at the high of the day, we tested this SMA here, held, tested it again, held, and now we made a new high. So if I got here around 425, 428, this would be an excellent entry point. The move has already kind of come out of the way. Crypto could still go higher, or sorry, Riot could still go higher, but I'm waiting for a pullback on these kind of stocks. They don't go up and down. I have plenty of time. So when I get this pullback on my entry, I am going to enter Riot. You can see beautiful, nice, steady buying, excellent relative strength, and very, very nice 1 vol and R vol. So I really like Riot. This is probably my top day trade / overnight swing pick of the day. All right. Second one here is Amazon. So Amazon is also pretty nice. Now, it's a little bit more correlated with SPY. So that's something you have to keep in mind because it's mega cap tech. But nice earnings gap up, digested the gains, started to climb higher. And we're breaking out of this range here. Now, Amazon, you can see here as it moved out of this range, pulled back, and made a new high. So somewhere around here, if I could get it at this 73, 71 level, that would be a great price. Now, for Amazon, you can see we have these dips move up higher, these dips move up higher. So I'm waiting for this next dip to get back into the stock. Because we are being nimble, our entries are super, super important, right? We can't afford to be wrong if the market is off and we get kind of, in a bad cycle, right? I don't want to get long here because if this stock goes down a little bit, the market goes down a little bit, I don't have as much confidence in my entry. I want the move to really take off and give me that cushion. And then if the market decides to pause or roll over, then I can see and evaluate what Amazon is doing, and I have some profit cushion, right? If it's not doing what I want, I'll take a little bit of smaller profits, but at least I took the profits, right? So that's kind of why I like Amazon. Okay, let's look at LRCX. You can see that's you can see kind of a noticeable price pattern here. So LRCX, we are close to this high right here at around 900, and we have this high plus trend line coming from way, 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 way back. I mean, oh my God, I'm zooming out really far here. I think the more pertinent trend line on LRCX is this more shorter term uptrend. So something like here, if I were to draw, yeah, I mean, it's not exact as you can see, but there is a nice parallel uptrend over here in this stock. So when we break through here, we can come back, and then it tends to be a buying climax. So that's why, again, we want to day trade this over here. We can see that it rejected off this level right here. We had a little bit of selling, and then it grinded back higher the whole day. Excellent volume. Has these little dips. Very, very steady buying. Doesn't get too overextended from its 8 EMA. And then this is a very strong sector today. If we look at our sector strength, we see that semis are really leading the charge up. They have been strong the entire day. If we look at if I put an XSD over here, well, that looks awful, but let's put up QQQ. I forgot XSC is just not liquid at all. Yeah, QQQ has just been steadily grinding up. Has been super strong today. Excellent breakout on QQQ. And, that's kind of the sector you want to be in. You notice all the stocks have been either tech or, crypto. Crypto has been very nice as well. So those are my 3 picks today for day trading. If I had to choose one, I would choose Riot. That's probably the one I'm going to look to day trade in. And I'm waiting for a pullback in Riot. I want to see this stock go down. So I have some alerts set in all 3 of those. When I get that pullback, I will enter. But for now, we just wait and see. So that's the video for today, short and sweet. We will look at all of those day trades next week. So let me add them to my YouTube picks. Riot, Amazon, LRCX. All right, and we're going to take out Carvana, and we're going to take out SMCI. So you have plenty of chance to get profits on those. All right, so that's what we have for this video, and I will catch you all in the next one.